Welcome back to The Boy in the Iceberg, the podcast where I watch The Legend of Korra. As always, I'm Caleb Bader, and I am not joined by my usual co-host, Harley, this week. He's out with a pretty severe case of ulcerative colitis. It flares up from time to time, and he's a little under the weather this week. So I figured I'd just go ahead and tackle this one on my own. It's going to be pretty straightforward. I've just got a bunch of notes here that I want to go over. But I do have also a little bit of a controversy that I want to talk about at the end of the episode. So be sure to stick around for that, because let me tell you, it's pretty juicy. I decided to only do one episode this week, and that is because we were kind of off course a little bit, and I needed to set the ship right again. This will put us back on track to have only 2 more episodes of the show left after this. It's pretty exciting because we don't have to watch this show anymore. It's getting a little taxing, just to put it bluntly there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get on into it. The episode I watched this week was Beyond the Wilds. This is the 48th episode overall of Korra, and here's a little bit about it. As a group of tourists led by Ryu wanders through Republic City's spirit wilds, they are suddenly attacked and captured by the vines. Jinora, Korra, and Opal investigate their disappearance. Korra reads the vines' energies and discovers that Kuvira is harvesting vines from the foggy swamp. While Jinora continues her search in the wilds, Korra and Opal leave to inform President Raiko about the situation. Arriving in City Hall, they interrupt the world leaders as they debate which course of action to take against Kuvira. Varrick and Bolin arrive moments later as well and deliver the same message as Korra and Opal. A decision is made to strengthen the United Republic's borders, and Opal and Lin, apart from the others, decide to rescue their family in Zaofu by themselves. Meanwhile, Jinora is attacked by the vines as well, but warns Korra by using her spirit projection, leading Korra and Mako to enter the spirit wilds in search of her. They find the unconscious captives and realize their souls are trapped in the spirit world. Korra tries to meditate into the spirit world, but she again finds herself incapacitated by visions of Zahir. Korra decides to confront him in his prison. Deeming Kuvira's usurpation of power contrary to his intentions, the Airbender opts to help her come to terms with her trauma and guides her into the spirit world, where she successfully reconnects with Rava and retrieves the souls of Jinora, Ryu, and the captured tourists. Asami and Varrick are tasked with finding a defense against Kuvira's superweapon, and Bolin, trying to reconcile with Opal, chooses to join her and Lin on their secret mission to find their family. Okay, so there's a little bit of the summary of the plot. Overall, I did not really like this episode. I don't know what it was about it. It felt disjointed, and just some of the storylines, I didn't see why we needed those in there whatsoever. It just didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because I haven't watched the show in a while, but coming off the clip show from last week, I think we needed a more solid episode than this. I've basically what I've got here are just some notes in front of me. I'm going to go through and then kind of highlight some of the things I thought. The first thing is that the Airbenders apparently are tour guides in the Spirit Wild now. Because Ryu had his parents there, or Ryu, or whoever it is, the lazy Airbender guy from 2 seasons ago, maybe now, or just 1 season, I guess. He's there and he's leading people on tours throughout the vines in the middle of the city. Why do we need that? Why are the Airbenders doing that? Are they guardians of the Spirit Wild or something? I just felt that didn't really work for me there. And of course he gets captured along with his mother and everybody. So now they have a reason to go find him. And it didn't look like they actually left to go find them for a while until Jinora actually left. That was a little weird to me. And after we get that, we cut back to see that Korra is just sitting on Air Temple Island playing with Naga. She's supposedly just gotten over her mental block or whatever it was. She certainly cleared the poison out of her system, but she's just sitting there not doing anything. I mean, if that were me, I would be actually trying to help someone. They need to go find Su Yin and all of their family and everything. Like they're still missing, but Korra's just sitting there and not doing anything. And then I also have down here immediately after that, Korra can apparently just talk to plants now. Like she can just commune with the vines or whatever, because they go down there and they see what Kuvira is doing, and that's why the vines are attacking people. But why does Korra? I mean, I know that she's displayed this power before, but why does she just suddenly she can just do whatever with it? She can commune completely with vines on the other side of the map or whatever it is. I just think that they're kind of stretching like the Avatar's abilities now, because apparently she's lost all of her previous Avatar states, but she can just talk to plants now. It's not adding up. But we do get to see a little bit of I think it's Zuko's daughter, because they have a council of all these world leaders, and the Earth Prince or whatever his name is, he's there along with the female Fire Lord, who I'm assuming is Zuko's daughter, Tenzin, and President Raiko, and they're having like a little powwow. Is that racist? I don't know, I'm just gonna push on. They're having a powwow to decide how to sort of handle Kuvira, and Tenzin and the Fire Lord are getting all fired up because apparently Kuvira hasn't provoked them, and they don't want to attack unprovoked. Which, give me a definition of provoke, because she's definitely. I mean, there's human rights violations and stuff that she's just kidnapping the ruling family of this town or whatever. I don't know why. I think that's the job of the army, isn't it? Like the Republic City army or whatever. They should be able to go in there and stop her from committing these atrocities against the people. But I mean, what do I know? I'm not the Fire Lord or whatever. And I think we do learn that her name is Izumi. I think they say something like that. After they decide to do whatever they're going to do with Kuvira, I don't even know what it was. Lin is not very happy with that. So her and Opal, they sort of get together, and then we have another one of those conversations where they have we have to do it alone because nobody's going to help us cliche. It's a little tired. So they're going to go try to get their family back. I don't know why they don't think that Korra would help them, or Bolin, or Mako, or even Asami. I'm sure that they would be fine to go down with them. This is when I wrote down in my notes, this is not a very good show, because I literally don't care about whatever was happening on the screen at that point. I don't know exactly what it was. I'm sure that you could drop that line. I don't think this is a very good show anywhere in the point of the episode, because it was not doing it for me. I don't know what it was, but it just felt bad. Like even more so than all the other problems I've had with Korra up to this point. This just it just felt bad to me. So now Jinora is in the Spirit Wilds, I guess is what they're calling them, with all the vines in the middle of the city, and she's getting captured. So she sends her spirit to go talk to Korra, and Korra goes in after her, and they end up finding her body. It's in like a sort of matrixy pod filled with like fluid, keeping the bodies alive, I guess. And Korra immediately knows, for some reason, that all their spirits are trapped in the spirit world. So this is when Korra decides to go into the spirit world for herself, even though she has not done that in like, I guess, 3 years now. So she's going to go in there, and she just apparently, whenever she tries, she just has visions of Zahir, and it kind of knocks her out of it. She's basically reliving that the battle that they had and the trauma she went through. So even though she got the poison out of her system, turns out she's not really done with Zahir yet. But this part did kind of get me thinking about the spirit world and sort of how that relates to the physical world a little bit. And it would be a lot better for me to have someone else on the podcast when I talked about this. But I kind of am wondering how much your physical location has effect when you enter the spirit world, because is every part of the spirit world linked up to a physical place? And can you enter the spirit world at any different location depending on your physical location? What do you think, silent guest? I don't really agree with that, and I really don't appreciate just the casual racism. But I kind of see where you're coming from with regards to the spirit world. But let's just move on. So at this point, Korra decides that the best thing for her is to go talk to Zahir for some odd reason, and I still do not get why they haven't just killed Zahir. Do you think that he's not going to break out at some point again? Now that he's an airbender now, you're just going to account for that, and then everything's going to be fine with him. Just get it over with. Death penalty is the best way to go in this instance. At least I think. But while they're talking, while Korra's going to see Zahir and everything, Bolin and Opal are having some spat or whatever, and I don't care about it at all. I literally could not care less about this whole storyline. I think it's dumb. It doesn't add anything to it. It actually detracts from what's going to probably be a really pretty cool encounter between Korra and Zahir right now, and they give it almost as much time, which I think kind of killed the pacing in the episode. They give so much time to this so unimportant thing, and then they speed through the Korra and Zahir thing, which I didn't like at all. So Korra goes and does actually see Zahir, and he's in this like crazy like large prison for only him now, and it's built into. It looks like it's built into a mountain, maybe. I'm not sure. But when Korra enters the room where Zahir's being held, he is levitating off of, like he's all chained up and everything, but they just let him float around wherever he wants. Do they not think that might be a bad idea to give him any possible leeway? They should strap him to the floor if they're going to keep him alive, which I don't think they should. They should strap him to the floor and then just keep him there all splayed out, and they feed him and give him things to drink when that is necessary, but don't give him any leeway other than that. And then Korra talks to him and explains to him how she got rid of the poison, but he's still haunting her, and he like floats straight over at her and scares her, even though she was claiming she wasn't going to be scared of him anymore. And they keep going on back and forth like that until Korra says something about Kuvira and how she's a dictator. And then Zahir goes, "Oh, yes, I've heard of what she's doing." So I guess the guards are just giving Zahir all the latest news, especially in regards to basically his life's purpose to take down the whatever power is currently being held by dictators or whoever he's talking about. So I knew where they were going with this because, it's a giant cliche. He just basically flips over and decides to help Korra because now they have a common interest, and he's no longer a bad guy or whatever. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the Bolin and Opal stuff. They speed through this. There's nothing really goes on except for Zahir tells Korra what to do, and then they sort of go into the spirit world, and everything's fixed for Korra now. They could have spent a lot more time. They should have spent a whole episode, and I know they don't really have the budget at this point or just the resources to do it, but they just rushed it, and it's mediocre. That's what I'm going to say about it. This should have been a whole episode of Korra working with Zahir, and they build up to it till this point, and now she has to overcome whatever's happening, and she doesn't just immediately do it, because that's what she does. She immediately overcomes whatever it is, gets into the spirit world. Rava shows back up. She says, "Oh, hi, Rava. It's nice to see you again." And Rava's like, "Oh, I was inside you all along, Korra. All you had to do was look." So Korra was just holding herself down. And then Korra says, "Oh, hey, Rava, would you mind taking me to wherever the spirits are?" And they just zoom through the spirit world right to where the spirits are. And then Rava tells Korra that she has to bend the spirit energy, which apparently she can do now in the spirit world, to release the spirits. She does it, and everything's fine. I don't get it. Why don't they take out all of the other stuff in this season up until this point and just focus on Korra? Because they're not doing it justice. And then at the end of this episode, when basically everything's wrapped up, we get to see Opal and Lynn embark on their journey that they have to do by themselves for some reason. And so now, why they've been setting Bolin and Opal up is because Bolin comes up to Opal and says, "Hey, I know there's not really anything I can do, but I'm in love with you, and I really want to win you back." And Opal's like, "Oh, there's one thing you could do to win for you to win me back. Come with us, because apparently we don't have to do this alone." And we didn't talk to anybody else, even though I'm sure they would be more than happy to go help you because they're your friends. Just talk to anybody else other than Bolin. Get Mako to go. He doesn't have anything to do right now. Get Asami to go. Who cares? She's doing something with Varric. That's not important. Korra, I'm sure, would be more than willing to go because she already lost to Gavira once. I'm sure she wants to prove herself now that she has gotten over her fears or whatever. But, I mean, of course they don't do that because that would make complete sense. But that's basically about the end of the episode. So I'm going to do a little bit of trivia, and then we're going to get into some conspiracy talk. The first piece of trivia is the way Korra and Zahir face each other's spirits is similar to how Korra accessed her own avatar memories in Beginnings Part 1. I'll hold for applause. Great trivia, guys. During the episode recap, the scene where Korra and Asami hug has slightly altered animation from the same scene in Reunion because they didn't have enough money to do an extra episode instead of a clip show, but they did take the time to go back and change a scene from a previous episode for the intro. Great job. And the last piece of trivia we have here is the tourist voiced by John Michael Higgins was revealed in the Blu-ray commentary of this episode to be named Steve, which is a oddly normal name for this world. But that's all the trivia. So now let's get to the part you guys have been waiting for. You've been asking for it. This is it's taking the world of the Legend of Korra by storm, and I really don't think there's any way of stopping it. This is from Fandom, powered by Wikia, for the Avatar Wikia. So here we go. Nate 56 Mate writes, "I swear the beard and hair Zahir has in Book 4 is fake. He shaved his hair off pretty good 3 years before. There is no way that hair and beard would grow fully back after 3 years." Pretty bold statements from Nate 56 Mate, who has a velociraptor or some sort of dinosaur that has his profile picture. He knows what they or Z knows what Zer likes or is talking about, I guess. But straight after that, Avatar Arrow post, "I don't know if you've started shaving or not, but I noticed that within a week after I don't shave, such as when I'm on vacation, it starts to grow past an inch. It becomes too long to be considered close shaven and too short to be an acceptable beard. If that happens in a week, then imagine what would happen in 3 years of not shaving. Let's also consider he would have no access to materials to make fake hair. He has no reason to make hair. He has no hair with which to make a fake beard and grow a head of hair," which is what you said in the first piece. So first of all, I'd like to say, if your beard grows an inch in a week, I am very jealous of you, and please impart with me your ways, because that is impressive. But right after that, Neo Bahamut, who is, I think, a moderator on this, says, "According to the Google, the average rate of hair growth is about 6 inches per year, which means if Zahir's hair didn't grow particularly fast or slow, we'd expect him to have about 1.5 foot of hair after 3 years." Which, this is a very interesting point, because of course the first guy, Nate 56 Mate, he just doesn't believe that there's any way that a beard would grow over 3 years. So this is a pretty interesting take from Neo Bahamut. But that's not all. Dish Beifong, who has the crest of the Beifong, so I think that he He doesn't have a blue check mark, but I think that we can be sure this is the real Dish Beifong. Question for you, Nate56 mate. Why would he possibly faked his hair and beard? What does he have to achieve from that? And what kind of impact would that have on the story? I mean, great point, Dish Beifong. And then right after that, Deist Zealot says, yeah, I'm going to second what Neo said. He didn't look that unduly scruffy for having been in an oubliette for the past 3 years. I guess that's a prison. He looked less scruffy than he did during his jailbreak. Nothing out of the ordinary. So I think that we can call this beard myth busted, guys. What do you think? Do you think that Zahir faked his beard? And hair, I guess. And if he did, what implications does that have for Korra as a whole? I mean, I think that this could honestly be a giant game changer in the lore. And a lot of the plot holes that we pointed out on this show especially, I think that they could be wrapped up if Zahir is in fact faking how scruffy he is. I mean, I don't know. So you can email us your Zahir beard theories with boysintheiceberg@gmail.com, or just talk to us directly on Twitter @boysintheberg. But I'm sure I speak for Harley when I say this. We would love to hear your Zahir beard theories. #Zahir beard theories. As always, I've been Caleb Ader. This is the Boy in the Iceberg, and we will see you here next week. Bye.